which is confusing me again. Oh, hey, look, it's working, I guess.
Hey.
What do you know? I guess it's not that confusing after all. Now all I need to do is successfully pop out the chat from here. Where's the chat? I don't see any chat. Well, anyway, I have this chat, and I guess that's it for chat. What is this? Oh, this is I remember what this is. It's gonna take a little while to say, I guess. So anyway, I'm trying this double stream again. I figure by double streaming, I have twice the adventure of learning with half of the number of chickens required. And of course, I'm always concerned about how many chickens and how many goats are going to be required for any given activity. Where is the chat on this? Here's the chat. Oh, wait. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I'm going to find something right now. I'm going to pop out this chat, I bet. Can I pop it? Can I make it pop? Let's see. Pop out. There we go. I'm popping out. Watch out, everybody. I've done it. I've successfully popped out the chat. So the equation in the title is correct. I see. The equation in the title is indicative of a reality I want us all to understand. Namely, if you really want to maximize viewers on your live stream, you need to include the following types in your title: INTJ, INTP, INFP, and INFJ. If you include all four of those types in your title, then you're going to maximize viewership. Hey, Bacon, I'm not claiming it's accurate. It's an accurate equation. I'm claiming it is a viewership drawing equation. I just came from Renault's new video, and he just said he feels like a mix of INTP and INFP. Which is the best of the four? ENTP. Bend over. The answer is ENTP is the best of the four.
Can I be tied with you?
Of course, darling. INFJ, I mean. INFJ is the best of the four. Foolish me. What was I thinking? Anything happening on our side of the house? Not a whole hell of a lot.
No.
No, I finished this book that I was reading. Boy, bit of a tearjerker, especially at the end.
I mean, I had seen the movie. The movie came out in around 2013, and I was super excited to see it because I was like, wow, like, such graphic novel looking. I love the subject matter. Couldn't wait to see it. I watched the whole thing, and by the end of it, I was just so broken down. I highly recommend it, though, because I think it's very educational.
Here's the thing. The book didn't impact me emotionally until the end, really. When you got to see how destroyed the girl's mother was to send her off to Austria. It got me right here in the meows.
Yeah.
It really did.
Yeah.
And, it's like I read the whole book without really any emotional engagement with it. It was very much an interesting sort of historical thing. Like, hey, Diamond, you know why those maths make perfect sense? Because they drew you here. That's what they're designed to do. They're not designed to provide you a meaningful equation. They're designed to encourage you to watch this live stream. I'm currently also, that's right, I'm streaming on Twitch. I am. Why?
Per viewer request.
Well, the reason is because I I can do both concurrently, I've determined.
Mm-hmm.
So I might as well. It doesn't seem to be there be any harm in live streaming on Twitch.
No.
You know, Alt's equation makes a little bit of sense. INTP plus ESTP minus ENFP.
Yeah.
It does make some sense.
It does.
Except you don't really need to minus the ENFP because none of the things that are in the ENFP that you want to get rid of are in either the ESTP or INTP. So
that's so interesting.
Well, I guess you'd say INTP plus ESTP minus ENFP does equal.
Yeah.
It's the closest equation you're going to get probably to ENTP. So anyway, it's Sunday morning. I'm resuming my interrupted sleepy week because, you know, I got bribed into working this weekend. Not that weekday makes any particular difference to me, but where do I get my model of type from? Well, I read about cognitive functions from lots of different places, and I kept running afoul of the same problem, which is none of them withstood scrutiny as a case, you know? I could easily negate any of them. So I figured, okay, there's got to be a way to make this withstand scrutiny better than it currently does. And so, you know, I took a lot of stuff from socionics, sure. I read a lot of socionic stuff. I took stuff from BB. I've been accused of stealing BB's model or something. I'm not claiming any originality here, particularly, although certain of the ideas in my model are original. I'm claiming that, you know, we had a bunch of car designers designing lots of cars, but we didn't have any engineers who actually were making cars that worked. So I came in and said, all right, this is a great element of design here. This is a great element of design here. This is a great element of design here. But none of you know how to make cases. None of you know how to actually argue things properly. So that's why all of your models are fucked up. So I will fix them. And I did. I fixed all the problems in existing typology and came up with the correct interpretation of things. Or coalesce the correct interpretation. It did require some invention on my part in the sense that I had to incorporate the 4 fields that no other model had accounted for. I had to incorporate the fact that there were both conditional and causal realities, which no other model had accounted for. I had to fix the misvalued understanding of values that socionics presented. I had to nix things like positive and negative that were attached functions that didn't mean anything. I had to eliminate all the metaphor, you know? That's number one thing, was eliminate all the metaphor. So get rid of masculine, feminine, get rid of plus, minus, get rid of subtypes, get rid of all that bullshit that you can't sustain, right? Only keep the shit you can actually sustain. The thing is, it's also the case that cognitive functions already existed in debate in ways that I didn't recognize really until I had cognitive functions. It turns out that all argumentation can be collapsed down into the values implicit to the cognitive functions. That there are no other warrants. In other words, people justify things in a variety of ways. And the ways that people justify all fit into one of those 8 categories. I can justify stuff because it's novel. Well, I mean, Gusto, the 4 sides of the mind is an excellent example of metaphor. That doesn't mean anything, right? No mind has four sides. It's purely metaphor. So, what functions are tied to perfectionism? I'm not sure any function is tied to perfectionism necessarily. I think perfectionism, yes, Hambone, it does mean that. So, right. So that's a stupid notion, right? That an ENTP can become an ISFJ. First of all, personality is defined as those elements of self that remain the same across time. I will always be an ENTP. There are moments when I will retreat into my fourth slot function. That doesn't make me an ISFJ. It might make me act more like an ISFJ than other times. When my dog died, I acted more like an ISFJ for about a week. I was still an ENTP. I was still using fourth slot SI more than I normally do, and it was still the same sort of SI. I still had the same approach towards it. It wasn't particularly sophisticated or deft. I still defaulted towards extroverted intuition as a base sort of being. It's just that I had been traumatized and was licking my wounds. If an animal gets injured and goes and licks their wounds, they don't turn into, like, this normally aggressive animal turned into a very timid animal. No, it's an aggressive animal that's injured and is retreating and licking its wounds. That doesn't make it a timid animal. It doesn't mean that it's access to its timid half of itself. It's just ridiculous. It's nonsense. A moment's thought will reveal that, okay, this doesn't withstand any scrutiny. It just doesn't, So, perfectionism ties to high TE as well as high NI in certain cases. Okay, well, yeah, perfectionism manifests in a lot of different ways. So, if you're talking about perfectionism where somebody clearly understands their vision and is frustrated by the difficulties in realizing that vision, that's one kind of perfectionism, and that links to NI. If you're talking about somebody who's frustrated because they're trying to manifest a vision successfully or generate one or come up with something that represents a clear vision, but keep coming up with stuff that falls short, then that's in any kind of perfectionism. And whether or not how perfectionist you are depends on, I would suspect, more on Enneagram type than it does cognitive functions. But as I was trying to get at before, debate informs us of just how significant this division into 8 things really is. Because it does turn out that, I'll answer that question in a second. It does turn out that that every argument that you can come up with, every warrant, it operates through one or more implicit frames, including things like novelty, singularity, authenticity, breadth of affirmation, lots of utility, like the various, all of the arguments, all the warrants that you can make in debate, they are, they comprise the totality of ways that people value things, which is fundamentally what a cognitive function model does, is it models all the different ways that people value things, and it explains how valuing mia in mia fashion requires definitionally and necessarily either countervaluing mia or also valuing mia. It's like those things are necessarily the case. So Alt says, how do you go about deciding if an animal is timid or aggressive? I know you said the vector was time, but if the individual hasn't lived out their entire life, could they switch categories? Well, no. I mean, so if you have like a wolverine, for example, a wolverine is famously an aggressive animal that if there's plenty of food for 2 wolverines to both eat, they'll still fight instead. Now, if you have a wounded wolverine, it will retreat and not want to fight and go recover, right? So the point is, that doesn't change fundamentally what the Wolverine is. It changes how the Wolverine is right now. And what typology says is it determines whether you're a Wolverine or a owl. And it's like an owl is probably pretty skittish compared to a Wolverine. If you approach an owl, it'll probably fly away. If you approach a Wolverine, it will probably attack you. So the thing is, if in fact somebody points out, look, this creature is at this time running away. See, Wolverines can turn into owls sometimes. Then you're just being completely moronic, right? And that's basically what C.S. Joseph is saying. It's like when Wolverines are hurt and they retreat, then they become owls because owls retreat and Wolverines are retreating.
That is so true.
That's what happens when you focus too much on correlates and not enough on processes. Jose Santiago, 95% chance that's a lie. But if on the off chance that it's not, welcome. Glad to have you. When somebody comes in without a little picture on their circle, especially, and says, hello, I'm new to your channel, it's usually Cloud. Okay, it's usually Cloud. So if you are not Cloud, then welcome, Jose Santiago. How does MBTI relate to psychopaths and sociopaths, and is it similar to what happens with Asperger's? No, I think psychopaths and sociopaths are by and large created, not born, although there may be some exceptions. I don't think it links to cognitive functions at all, really. I also don't think it's similar to Asperger's or ADHD. I think it's a real thing. I don't think that it's just a bullshit distinction on some other grounds. But like I said, if you actually are who you say you are, welcome. We're happy to have you. We hope you enjoy yourself here. Lots of nice people to chat with. I'm sometimes relatively pleasant. Depends on my mood. I give free coffee. If you want a cup of coffee, I'll pour you one. Of course, you'll only be able to drink it metaphysically, but that's better than nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Peter. Peter came around for some food. I'm going to pour myself a cup of physical coffee, but I'm willing to transubstantiate it to anybody who doesn't have coffee currently. Legends Fall, you are a good friend. I appreciate your affirmation.
Oh, that is so nice. He is a bundle of joy.
Mm-hmm. Would you say I'm a bouncing bundle of joy?
Yes.
Because, the best kinds of bundles of joy bounce. I think that's pretty well established in the scholarly literature.
Yeah. You bounce. Your legs bounce a lot. I like your bouncy legs.
I wonder what would happen. And this is easy enough to find out the answer. I wonder what shows up if you go to Google Scholar and Google bundles of joy. Let's find out. Let's find out what happens if you ask a Google Scholar about bundles of joy.
Bundle of joy.
I transubstantiate that coffee to everybody.
Thank you.
Now, I've noticed that apparently I'm not that popular on Twitch. There's not a single person chatting with me on Twitch, whereas look at all these wonderful friends chatting with me on YouTube. All right, so going to Google Scholar now. You can see what I've been searching about. Automatic stabilizers and federal jobs guarantees. Doesn't that sound interesting? That's what I've been having to work on for debate kids. Okay, but I read something. Okay, but what is this? This is from an author. I'm looking for a particular article. Let's see. Which one was it? Which one was I looking for? That's the question. Oh, right. It was about social justice and climate change. Very important matters. Bundles of joy is what I really want to know, though. Okay, what does Google Scholar have to say of bundles of joy? Well, the first thing is bundles of joy, the ubiquity and efficiency of bundles in new technology market. And then the second article, bundled payment for bundles of joy. And it's about maternity. So the first one has nothing to do with maternity. It just has to do with bundling technology products. The third one, bundles of joy, is about Federal Trade Commission. It's about legislation that prevents people from certain kinds of product selling things, I guess. Then we've got bundles of joy, using the ERA database to explore the outcomes of CSA practice interactions. Well, this looks like a delightful article. This looks like the sort of thing one would sit down and read over breakfast. Let's find out. What else should we Google on Google Scholar? How about you little scoundrel. You little scoundrel. What if we put it in quotes? Do we get any results? There's only 45,000 results not in quotes. Let's see what happens if you put in 44 results. Let's see. The dilemmas of sexual harassment. This request had deeply hurt her father's pride. He slammed the table with his fist and shouted, "So you disown your own ancestors, you little scoundrel?" To him, the family name was the relay baton that carried forward the family line. And then Christmas tree. The Christmas tree, 1930. "Come here, you little scoundrel," George yelled. And then how about this one? "What make you here, you little scoundrel?" Or, "You little scoundrel, that money stays here for your doctorate." Okay, well, that's pretty exciting. Is there anything anybody else would like me to Google Scholar? Social justice and climate change? You've got some work on your hands. Hilarious. Hilarious. What is life? Okay, Google Scholar, what is life? What is love? What is life? What is life? There's going to be a lot of things about that probably. 5,720,000 results. Came up with that many in just 0.11 seconds. That's pretty fast. Okay, what is life? When is life grievable? Oh, Judith Butler. Ew, 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 I smell something rancid. It's Judith Butler. God, I hate Judith Butler. What is life? A scientist is supposed to have a complete and thorough knowledge at first hand of some subjects, and therefore is usually expected not to write on any topic of which he is not a life master. This is regarded as a matter of noblesse oblige. The obligation of the nobles. Excuse me? What is this term of art here? Noblesse oblige. The inferred responsibility of privileged people to act with generosity and nobility towards those less privileged. What a snotty expression that is. Noblesse oblige. It's my noblesse. You know what? These live streams are is me fulfilling my noblesse oblige. No, I haven't watched it. I perhaps might watch it at some point, but I probably will, but I haven't gotten around to it. It's Sleepy Week right now. Google Scholar is free. Yeah. The thing is, you have to look at the ones where they have a PDF already attached to them. Then you can get the PDF and it's free. Okay, I'll look at it. It's just, I got a lot of things to look at, you know? I'll be interested to see what he looks like. My Uncle Sam is a postmodern philosopher. His goal is to make people hate philosophy and think it's a waste of time. Does he not understand how self-defeating that is? To have so clear position, so clear philosophical position on philosophical positions. It's not like his position isn't abstract. He himself thinks abstract thinking is like the plague. Well, he sounds like an awful human being. Oh, shit! Emergency, 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 emergency. I am out of cigarettes. What am I going to do? I should have gotten cigarettes before I started this live stream. What am I going to do? I'm only 27 minutes into this live stream, and I'm out of cigarettes. Hi, yoy. Let me see if I can find some decent butts. I can find a plate full of decent butts. The problem is I just cleaned up, you know? That's the problem. That's your number one problem right there. Is that you just cleaned up, you dummy. You just cleaned up and you threw away all your cigarette butts, you dummy. That's your problem. You're a big, big dummy dumb. You should never throw away your cigarette butts. Just because you don't need them right now doesn't mean you're not going to need them in 5 minutes, you big dummy dumb dumb dumb. That's why all the kids at school called me big dummy dumb dumb dumb. Dumbest of the dummies. I found 2 cigarette butts. Time to fast. You mean fast from tobacco? That will never. I can't fast from cigarettes for too long or else I starve. Do I have some cigarettes in the car? Good question, Mrs. Wong. Excellent question. Good thinking. There might be. I don't think there's a whole pack of cigarettes in the car, but there's probably a couple of good-sized butts in the car, and that can comprise like an hour's worth of tobacco. Okay, here's the biggest problem we have, Nicholas Watson. I still haven't finished teaching Rachel how to drive a stick shift. So, and I have a stick shift. I know, it's dumb. It's dumb. I've been with Rachel for a year, and I still haven't gotten around to finish teaching her how to drive a stick shift.
Oh.
And well, because they're saying, well, can't you just ask Rachel to go get you some cigarettes?
Oh.
And I said, well, the problem with that is she can't drive the car because she can't drive a stick shift.
Also, it's your I mean,
It's my job.
Yeah. Oh, this.
Well, sure. I mean, but
I don't really want to be your bitch.
Rachel, yeah.
I love you. Guys. Did I upset you?
No. Which is that if I were to ask you to do that, then I wouldn't consider it an excessive request.
No, it's not.
But the point is, you can't drive the car, so
No.
it is in that regard.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upset you.
You didn't really upset me. It just,
I don't think it was that way.
right. I know you don't. It just, created a juxtaposition in my head that I have to deal with. You know, it basically slowed down my thinking. Hi, Lauren and Nicole. Hi, Lauren McGinley. How are you guys doing in Scotland? Is it cold? I'm assuming it must be cold. It's coming up on winter time.
Yeah, it is. Pretty soon, right? No, December.
Maybe it's because INTJs go metaphysical, physical. So starting the metaphysical level, but otherwise non-metaphysical. He thinks metaphysics is nonsense. Yeah, well, he doesn't understand that embracing his own NI truth in that fashion, and the TE grass eater. I wasn't sure if you'd been here for a while or were greeting the Scots. See, that's why I didn't actually include you. I wasn't sure if your words were greeting everybody and you had just arrived concurrently with the Scots, or if in fact, you don't need to be sorry about it. You're fine. It's all good. It's all good. So you see what I'm saying? My polar test is based on empirics. Yeah. I mean, all my typing is based on empirics. In other words, I'm not there, but there are different kinds of empirics, right? So I can empirically describe your affect, and I can try to match that up with the description of, other people's objective descriptions of a given type. But that's not a very good way to do it, because no, if they were just definitional, then it would only be a taxonomy. It wouldn't be a model. That's the difference between a model and a taxonomy. It used to be just a taxonomy. So if you see something old, I might be saying, no, this is just definitional, because at that point it still was. But now it's not. Now it's an actual model because it links to empirically to the processes that are. The only challenge is it's not. It's hard to find. It's important to remember that the things that we're testing for are just very strong skill correlations with the functions. They're still not representative of the functions themselves per se. So like answering TI questions is not the same thing as TI, but it's a lot closer to TI than acting like a TI person is. And so the thing is, it's got good solid empirical links. There's lots of possibly. Oh, that's true. I mean, one easy workaround is have somebody standing off screen giving them the answers. You know, that's one easy workaround.
Or like someone in front of them being like, bing.
Yeah, so it is possible. What I acknowledge about my current typology systems, I say it is a model. There are empirical links, but it's also the case that I don't have it all figured out. Like, I'm not sure exactly how to reliably test these things perfectly, so they can't be subject to any kind of workaround. But I'm also convinced that I've gotten enough experience seeing how people express these different processes that that it's the best thing we have, basically.
So you're out of cigarettes?
I am out of cigarettes, and I'm going to go get some. But I found 2 bucks, and Winston's mom pointed out that I'm being distracted by too many things. I'm completely losing my train of thought about anything. There's a lot of interesting things being said in the chat right now that I want to respond to. So I can't come up with good any polar invention questions. Does that affirm any polar? It doesn't. It's consistent with it. I wouldn't say it affirms it or I guess sustains it or establishes it, but it's consistent with it. Yeah, they could memorize all the formations of logic, create TE sequences to do all of them. That's true. That is true. The abysmal state of affairs is only a temporary predicament. Once we transcend the grammatical limitations of logical symbolism, we can see the truth. So, I mean, of course, is that sentence pointing to the truth? Is that sentence true? Is that sentence more true than a sentence that were exclusive of it? Or should we ignore you entirely? So in other words, you're simply describing to us all how we can't see the truth because we're listening to you. Because we're understanding your words and the logical symbolism and the meaning that they convey, that means we can't see the truth because we are constrained by the limitations of being able to understand you. But you can see the truth because you're not constrained by understanding yourself in some fashion. I don't understand, sir. It's like it's such gobbledygook nonsense. Yeah, I know you're responding to him. I'm responding to him, Jesus is Lord. I'm not responding to you. I get that it's a quote, right? I tend to put on I tend to play out the scene, like I'm pretending I'm standing in front of him and talking to him. It's I wonder if I'm actually streaming on Twitch right now. I have 1 viewer right now. Yes, so I am streaming on Twitch. But why does it still say Eric's first Twitch stream? I thought I changed the title.
You did. I thought you did too.
Who knows why? I don't know why. That's some INTJ shit test. Interesting. Running Fox, you are the only person I've ever heard say that. Running Fox just said something I can't imagine ever hearing anybody saying. She might want to be a high school guidance counselor. Who wants to be a high school guidance counselor?
ESFJ.
Well, Running Fox is not an ESFJ. Running Fox, I think you would hate the job ultimately. I don't think you'd like being a high school guidance counselor. I think you must have had a weirdly positive relationship with your high school guidance counselor. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe.
Yeah, that's why so Alana, my friend, she had a really good relationship with her high school guidance counselor, and she went to school to be a high school guidance counselor. And the problem is that it's just a specific job. Not a lot of people leave it, so she's
not a lot of openings.
Yeah.
It says here, Ryan Fox says, I didn't have a high school guidance counselor. No one helped me. Well, that's why you think you want to be one, because you don't know what one actually is. It's not a fun job. It's a terrible job. You deal with a lot of kids who don't want your guidance and don't want your counsel. as a knower, you don't mind receiving guidance and counsel because you'll sit there and know about it, whether it's worth listening to or not. But as an action deliberation type, I don't want their guidance at all. I'm just like, okay, guidance counselor. You can take your guidance and shove it up your butt. That's what I'd say, like that. That's pretty hardcore of me. I was pretty hardcore, you know. I was a rebel. I was constantly rebelling against guidance counseling.
My guidance counselor lost my early application to my first choice college.
Uh-huh.
Yep. And once you apply, you can't apply again. So
the guidance counselor at the private school I worked at got busted because he was taking bribes from Armenian families to doctor the students' grades before they were sent them out in the official records of the school before they sent them out to. So when they applied to schools, they said like, "Oh yeah, I've got a 4.0," and they really got like a 3.1 or something, you know?
really, I didn't know that they could do that.
A guy that well at this private school, the way things were set up, it's a. I mean, at this private school, they could. It was verbatim. It wasn't particularly carefully run. You know, the place. There was some sort of database of grades and stuff that admin had access to, and he had the capacity to change those grades on whatever record that the college received. I'm not sure how they did it, but he got quietly busted and fired and stuff like that to try to keep it under wraps.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
So yeah, I don't know exactly. I think it was in the range of $10,000.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's a hefty sum.
He charged. I'm saying the guidance counselor charged $10,000 to successfully mess with the records so that the college would be convinced that the students' grades were actually better than they were. I don't know how exactly they did it, how he did it. Obviously, it wasn't perfect because he got caught at some point, you know. But yeah, I think he charged them $10,000 to do it, which is, you know, if you are, you know, the school had a fair percentage of like rich Armenian kids, and the boys especially, they tended to be not very good students. Just who
Didn't
knows?
care about school.
Well, Armenian girls would be the largest purveyors of that narrative that Armenian boys are bad students. You'd hear from all the Armenian girls that complain about the Armenian boys being irresponsible, and so yeah, I think it was just for the Army. I think the only people who were involved in it were the rich. It was like probably some rich Armenian approached him first, and then that started this thing. And I'm pretty sure it just involved the Armenians. He was an Armenian, the guidance counselor, but I think it was kind of a cultural thing. Like Armenians maybe are more comfortable with, as a general rule, the idea of greasing the wheels, so to speak. But I don't know. Yeah, I think he did make bank before he got busted. He had a lot of nice toys. I went to his house one time. I didn't think anything about it. This was well before I knew. I knew anything about that.
Yeah.
FI could be tested pretty easily with any, pretty hard to do with SE due to the linguistic component potentially, but it's possible. In terms of SE, I think it's actually pretty easy. Well, testing SE requires, I've come up with a few different possible ways that you might test SE, but They're kind of impositional upon the party being tested. The thing is, you got to also think about the FE considerations, such that, like, whenever I'm testing somebody, they're not just a test dummy that I can just push on randomly and be like, "What's this? What's this weakness? Reveal it more. Reveal it." You know, it's like I gotta remember the fact that they're a human being and that they are maybe being made uncomfortable by certain things. You know, I got to move away from certain areas maybe that could be more revelatory because I don't want to. I want them to have a good experience. They're paying me $100. I don't want to be sort of leave it feeling sort of ontologically raped. You know?
Yeah.
What kind of questions? I don't really have any questions for FI that I ask. I sort of give up on checking FI because I don't feel like I'm good at identifying it. So for NI, the rat test is my best tool at the moment, and it seems to. Well, I don't actually. That's the thing, Running Fox. It seems like NI, the rat test is a pretty good indicator of NI. You can tell a lot when you get somebody who scores well-ish on the rat test and poorly on the NE tests that are especially inky pinky, but pretty well on the invention test. Then you know you're dealing with somebody who's reasonably strong NI and unconscious NE. I think you're an ESFP. Have I typed you? As far as I know, Jesus is Lord. I don't think I have an opinion on you, maybe? Maybe I do. Oh, I still am out of cigarettes, aren't I?
Yeah.
I remain out of cigarettes.
Do you want me to hang out with the
Yeah, you want to hold down the fork for a few minutes while I run to the store and get cigarettes?
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks,
and
darling.
I would go for you if I...
Maybe don't even stress about it. I get it. I get what you're saying. And it's like, the thing is, I would, under any circumstances, be much more likely to well, look, I'm not saying that typology is empirically established to anybody's complete satisfaction. I'm saying it's way more empirically established than it ever was before, thanks to me. And there's no avoiding that. There's no avoiding that fact. It's way more empirically linked than it ever has been before, entirely because of me. Because I'm the only one who's making meaningful links. So do with that fact what you will. Hate and abuse me because it sounds arrogant, or say, yeah, or whatever, but that's the truth. Sorry. That's just how it is.
Yeah. Hey, all. So, Running Fox, in terms of I would take a class in guidance counseling. Thank you. Hey, Ghost. Hey, Hambone. Okay. Hambone asks a good question. Hambone asks, Rachel, what are some struggles of being TE polar that are difficult for others to understand? So, TE is actually pretty simple. TE is planning and taking the right steps towards whatever that certain task you have at hand is. I am very bad at anything that has directions 1 through 10 to make something happen. Now, I worked as a paralegal for a year and a half. I first started out as an administrative assistant, and then I became a paralegal. And that had a lot of TE work. There were a lot of documents, but I didn't have to fill out any of the documents. I just had to copy them, postmark them, and mail them out. So I had a list in front of me of the steps that I needed to take in order to complete my tasks when I worked for the lawyers at the law firm. So like burning my hands, that's a TE polar thing. So I heated up some food in the microwave 2 nights ago, and the directions said, leave the film on and cook for 15 minutes. Then it said to lift the film and mix whatever was in there. Okay. So really simple steps. But I forgot that even though I saw how hot it was, how hot the item was in the microwave, I still was like, oh, the directions say just pull the film off, so it shouldn't be that bad. But I burnt myself in the process because I didn't TE like oh yeah, it's cooked for 15 minutes. That means it's really hot. You know, a TE person would know to let it sit for a little longer, or like to take the precautionary steps, where I just like went head into it. I do that a lot. TE polar can head into things without thinking of the ABC to get there. So I wanted to move to California for a very long time. It took me years until meeting Eric to actually come to California, because I didn't know the steps to even move somewhere different. It was like so challenging for me. RC says goals and follow through TE as well. That's my Achilles heel. Yeah, follow through. I am not good with follow through. It's really see, that's the thing. It's really difficult to describe and more easy to observe. Like, I think driving took me a while to really grasp until I had an ISTJ driving instructor who really took me step by step on how to drive a car. And then once I learned how to drive the proper way with the instructor, I was great. But you know, it follow through, like homework. I never did homework because I was like, that's extra work, you know. So RC, you might have that then. TE polar, you know. My grandma, Lapoulos, I believe, was an ISFJ, and she never drove either. Yeah, you know, I actually really love driving. I don't know how to drive stick shift. So because of that, I don't drive in Arcadia, but you know, it happens. Hey, grass eater. Okay. Lauren, I believe, yeah, it was Lauren, asks, what resources are good for learning about the functions? I came across, when I was studying the types, I came across a really great, simplified, broken down version of the cognitive functions, and I will look it up right now for you. I recommend the website. I just can't remember the name of it. Yes. Okay. This is the site that I use for myself. I highly recommend it for people who are studying typology. That's the INFJ one, but you get to see the example. Oh, I love you girls too. You're welcome. I'm happy to help. You're welcome. Let me know what you think. I learn best with SI. So when I was first studying cognitive functions, I would literally look at that website and then write over and over and over again, like INTJ, TE first slot, and then I go on to the second slot, and that's how I'm still learning. Thank you, Ghost. That was quick. He's back. NI, the thing about NI to understand, and Eric helps me understand, it's an overarching knowing of something. So it's like knowing the map without really knowing the details of the territory.
It's knowing without necessarily being able to explain how.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
So Rachel's often right, but I'll be skeptical.
Which is understandable.
Because it's not because I doubt her knowing, but because I'm the opposite kind. I'm the kind of person who's an action type, which means I want to have deliberated everything out myself before I reach the status of knowing.
Yeah. I lost the Twitch. Yeah, thank you.
That's fine. I wonder if anybody's watching on Twitch. One viewer on Twitch.
All right.
Hi, Twitch viewer.
And you have people following you.
It's probably one of the YouTube people, but that's fine. We'll just keep on doing that because ultimately it doesn't hurt, and who knows, might help.
Yeah.
So one thing I wanted to do was explain why
makeup.
Why that thing about going to get me cigarettes was that's fine. I have no problem with you making it better. But the thing is, there are specific ways in which it needs to be made better, and those involve linking more. It basically involves data gathering and organization. I've got lots of data, but I don't have it organized. I don't have it put together for a purpose of proving something, for example, or establishing something. So the thing is, I'm not going to do that. If we put all the data together and looked at it, and we're assembled properly, and there's lots of data again because there's lots of typing sessions, then we could meaningfully start to establish some links. But I'm not going to do that. Yeah, that's work I'm not interested in doing. It's established enough for my purposes. It's like I would love to have somebody else provide me clarity, like, okay, here, I've Daily sleep hours is great at organizing bullshit, though. That's the problem. It's like having the most well-organized bullshit in the world doesn't change it from being bullshit. If you keep having dreams with a female celebrity, it means you're destined to be with her. No, probably
No.
just means you want to hump her.
It might not even mean that.
Might not.
Yeah, because I used to have a dream about. Remember on my old channel, I had Forgetting Brad Pitt.
Oh, I never watched it.
Oh, really?
I never looked at any of your videos. That's how self-absorbed I am.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. Well, it's about my dream. He appeared to me in a dream, and I don't have those feelings towards him.
Mm-hmm.
And the next day, he got divorced from Angelina.
He just wanted to give you a heads up.
Yeah.
And your dream sphere.
Yeah. And then that Jimmy Fallon dream that I had. A lot of times too, when I make like dream boards or like collages, and there's a celebrity in the picture, like something like big will happen to them.
Okay, so I wanted to address this thing. There's no such thing as the collective unconscious. I tend to agree with that. Jesus is Lord. I would say that I would say that there is an inherent capacity to create identity by naming things that people have, and that the tendency to name certain kinds of relationships that are kind of foundational to human experience manifests as something that could be mistaken for a collective unconscious. In other words, some symbols are fairly universal, but that's because some aspects of human experience are fairly universal, and the there's some sort of like machine code elements of the mapping approach that we take that are easily universalized. So I think that's a better way to say it. To fully parse NI with TI, you need to be very patient. A single impression can be paragraphs long in complexity. I agree with that. Could you explain why people have polars? Yeah, that's a good question. The answer to that question is so the tool function is going to be your default means of approaching any problem. And then the secondary, and then the second sort of step in this process is to modify your tool function with your third to try to bolster it, make it more effective. And then your third option is to look to your sixths. Okay, well, maybe you want me to. So for me, it goes like this. Well, here's some logic. Well, you're an asshole, Eric. Okay, well, here's some nice logic. And they say, well, that's still useless. We're not empirical enough. I say, well, here's some TE. Here's some empirics. Here's some TE. Here's some how you can use it, how you can do it, or whatever. And people go, that's still not enough. And then I go, okay, well, it's true, though. Maybe I appealed my fifth slot function. It's true. The reason you have objections to it is simply because it's novel, not because it's false. I sort of defend on the vulnerability of my implicit function, which says I'm going to prioritize that which is new. So I'm not doing that too much here. Don't worry. And then maybe lastly, I'm going to go, look, I've had all this experience with this. I've got a lot of experience doing this. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm really experienced. People, my fourth slot function. Okay. And then maybe at a last ditch, if we're going to go, well, Jesus Christ. I mean, it's like I do so much regarding this matter of thing. Surely that counts for something. When do I get around to saying this is very important to me? Dead last. Dead last. And I think it's irrelevant. I would never make that argument, right? Because it's totally irrelevant to whatever it is that's in dispute. That's why everybody has polar. You can do the same thing for INFJ. Let's do it for Rachel, okay? The first thing she does is no. So I see this happen a lot where I'll say something last night. Like I said something, I don't remember what it was. We were watching TV and I said like, meow is the meow of meow. Something like that, like lightning is the strobe light of the heavens or something. I don't know, something like that. And M. Cruz at Etos from Twitch. I will answer your question next. You're next in line because you're chatting on Twitch and you're the only one who said anything on Twitch. So, okay, but let me finish addressing this thing first. So, if you're talking about Rachel, she knows first, and she knows first with her tool function, FE. So she knows immediately what sort of thing I'm trying to do first. Like, oh, Eric's sharing with me some INI. Then she processes what it means. And then she has this additional knowing, right? You can see it happen. Do you remember what it was I was saying last night? Like meow is the meow of meow or something?
Yeah, it's like with the specific
But the specifics.
Now.
This happens between us all the time.
It was really great. It was so funny.
But anyway, it happened last night where she knew what I was doing sort of FE wise, that I was sharing something with her. Then she processed it TI wise and understood it. Then she responded with, FE, maybe riffing off of it a little bit. And she'll then, if for some reason that's not enough, she'll clarify why it makes sense with TI. Then if that's not enough, she'll express that, yes, I really do like it with her FI. And then after that, she'll go to maybe fourth slot SE, like, oh, do you want me to do something with this thing?
Yes,
and then maybe she'll go to SI. Well, what have we done with it before? And then when does she ever get around to going, well, how is this useful? Dead last, right? It's the same thing as with me.
God, exactly.
Now, M. Cruz Etos, what is your definition of absolute values, instrumental values? Could you explain it in so simple that ENFP would get it? Sure. Dribbling down the court, fancily between your legs, spinning, breaking people's ankles left and right, dodging between all of the players on the court, all the way from one end of the court to the other, to shoot a layup is only worth anything if you make the layup. If you miss it, it's not worth anything. So all that great moves and fancy footwork and such, that's an instrumental value to the absolute value of scoring a basket. Now, if in fact you were in a fancy dribbling contest, however, the fancy dribbling would be the absolute value, and the shooting the basket would be, let's say, instrumental. Let's say you have to shoot a basket in order to start your fancy dribble, which is what gets graded. Then the shooting the baskets is instrumental, and the fancy dribble is the absolute value. Well, in life, we take that same approach with cognitive functions. So for me, novelty is an absolute value. The fact that something is new makes it, or has the opportunity to allow me to create new things, is a better way to put it. Any circumstance that affords me or you, if you're an ENFP, the opportunity to create new things, to ideate new ideas about something, that's an absolute value. We need an environment to allow us to do that, or else it's not of interest to us. And on the other hand, our judgment functions are instrumental values. So for me, I use logical consistency to do what I need to do, right? But it's not an absolute value, such that if I firmly believe that something is correct, but I don't feel as though people are really ready to accept it as correct, I will put aside the correctness TI thing in exchange for the FE value of other people liking me. So no matter how logically correct I am, I won't voice too unpopular an opinion, even if I think I have the winning arguments, because I don't want to incur the FE harms. On a simpler level, it's like in my relationship, I don't care if Rachel's being logically consistent or not. I'm not going to correct her if she says something that's I don't think withholds TI scrutiny. Why? Because it's not an absolute value for me. It's an instrumental value. I use it in this context to make sure that people take me seriously and understand that I deserve whatever status is afforded by a FE, I guess, and that what I'm saying validates as true. Those are my absolute values that matter the most to me in terms of the things I think I'm being graded on or should be being graded on or want to be graded on, which is to say that I would like to be graded on effectively communicating universal truths in ways that are appealing and likable. So, MBTI is a hoax. The thing is, of course, I don't think there are certain things that can be called hoaxes. Certain things that you could simply have to call either wrong or an incorrect frame or something. You kind of couldn't call MBTI even. Forget about the cognitive function model, but you couldn't really call MBTI a hoax. You just have to call it, even if you disagree with it entirely, an intellectual dead end of some sort. No, Raphael. That's not true. I would not go along with a lie to keep short-term harmony. It means I pick my topics. So, for example, you'll notice that I don't hammer COVID all the time, right? My position on it is very clear, but I'm not spending all my time talking about the most important thing being that we deal with this COVID irrationality. Somebody like Grass Eater, who doesn't value FE as much as I do, says I should do that more. Of course, the COVID stuff is not popular. So the reality is I don't talk about it nearly as much as I would if consistency were an absolute value for me. Note, remember this, and this is hugely important, Raphael. Note, I am not misrepresenting my position on it, nor am I afraid to or refuse to engage on the matter. If somebody questions me about it, I do not go along with the lie, but I prioritize ultimately, in terms of what I'm talking about, areas where I can make some headway. So it's not just FE, validation, it's TE validation as well. I know when I'm banging my head against the wall for no purpose. And it's important to know that in life. Did I see what you said in regard to the collective unconscious? No. What did you say? Did you say that you love it? You say you love to rub up against it?
So much. I heard that you love it so much that you told your mom.
Yeah, I heard that too. It's true because you can say it's the utilization of the component that is abstracted from the human experience the feedback loop it creates. I mean, I think it's an emergent function of the capacity to confer identity onto things via naming them. That's probably the best way to describe it. Rachel Apollosa, that is the best idea I've heard in a long time. Everyone should learn how to do dancing party dance. Send me their videos so we can have a music video that's done. I have a few people had send me in, but not enough. I need a lot of those, and then I will make a video. It's a music video. What do you think of the governor of Washington making it illegal to go without a face mask until August? I don't think it would withstand scrutiny if it got challenged in the courts. Because, of course, I don't think there's good enough reason for it. I don't think the evidence supports that sort of legislation is justified. And it also ignores the fact that if I am, for example, some people are functionally immune to it because it's a T cell thing, it turns out. The thing that makes you vulnerable to COVID or not has to do with your T cells. And if your T cells are robust enough, what are T cells? I don't know. Beats the shit out of me. But the point is, if your T cells are robust enough, you're basically immune to it. And if they're not, then you are. Thank you, Horse Mumbler, for defining that. Yes. So nobody, no matter how much they are correct about MBTI being wrong or whatever, could possibly ever correctly call it a hoax. Because a hoax is a manufactured story presented as if it were authentic in origin, backed by a false provenance. Nobody's disputing Then Myers and Briggs actually took Jung's ideas and tried to make this thing out of it. And so even if they're wrong, it's not a hoax. Okay, so yeah, basically people with robust T cells are essentially immune to it. So why would I have to wear a mask if I passed that standard?
That's true.
And then then what does that bring up immediately? Since when do we have to pass a standard of adequate health to be allowed in the world without being nannied by the state? It's bullshit in every way, shape, or form. But, you know, Otter in the media, you are so strange. You say such strange things. Thank you. Oh. I mean, it's really 0000, I think is your name. If I were going to
0000, yeah.
If I were to correctly pronounce it. Caste-Nazism. Who is a crazy person? Oh, Audrina Media? Well, I mean, I don't like to dismiss people as crazy people. Audrina Media certainly says a lot of weird things. That's true. But I think it's right. The same justification. Exactly. What 0000 says is that the same justification could have been used before COVID. Exactly. There, you know, the justification that that we have an obligation to sort of prove a negative and it puts the onus completely on the wrong parties. People who wish to take extra precautions have the option to do so. Nobody's telling them they can't. I don't think anybody's going to try to suggest mandatory vaccinations. I think what they're going to do instead is say people who have a sticker, it's like car registration, you know, people who've had a sticker that says you've been vaccinated can go around normally. But if you don't have your sticker, you have to take all these precautions or something. And then that won't withstand court scrutiny. It just won't.
Say it inappropriately since mom.
So the thing is this. Eric, do you think INFJ and INTJ have different styles than NI? Do you think our NI is basically the same? I mean, I think they play out quite differently because the NI of the INTJ is directed towards particularist things. In other words, what really drives the NI of the INTJ is their precious. Now, we around here are very fortunate because Winston's mom has decided to afford this channel the status of her precious. So we got a lot of her attention. And her NI and TE is a lot of it is thinking about stuff like, let's see, how can I make my precious better or have more preciousness with my precious? So the thing is, INFJs, they don't have their precious so much. In fact, the problem is preciousness constantly runs afoul of their universality. So there's something inherently conflicted about INFJs. When they do find something they hold precious, it's almost like they can't believe it. They have to keep saying, "You're precious," because they have mostly bad experiences with FI. It's like for me when I find out a TE thing that really works, and I'm pretty excited about it, or something like the fact that I can Twitch stream concurrently with YouTube stream. That's fairly like, hey, this is good TE thing, amazing. I think Rachel can't quite get over the fact that she's having a good FI with me.
I
Right?
can't get over it. I love it so much.
She's so accustomed to FI being so stupid and shitty all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I am so accustomed to TE being so stupid and shitty all the time that she kind of can't believe it that she's got this positive FI experience that's ongoing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Which is
really
great. And I think also that part of her FE tool is to remind me frequently that she loves me, which I appreciate too, because being FI polar means I don't inherently understand my own value very much. That was a good bong rip. It silenced my monkey mind for a moment. Oh, Louis XVII. That is one precious. That's true. But that's not the precious I'm talking about. An INTJ is precious. In theory, might be that precious, but 99.99% of the time it's going to be something else.
Yeah, like their car, or their cell phone, or some like new tech thing. They really like new tech things.
They do. I kind of like new tech things, but usually they're too complicated. I'm curious about this gaming system thing that I saw a commercial for called Quest. I think Quest 2 maybe, where it makes it look like super VR. I wonder if it's actually like that. Have any of you guys heard anything about Quest 2?
They were like, it was a shooting. Starts out with a shooting game.
And he puts the thing down, and then he lifts it up, and he puts it down.
It's cool.
It looks cool in the commercial, but I wonder if it's actually like that.
Well, you have to be careful with motion sickness on that.
Yeah, probably it would make me very motion sick. Eric, do you know this COVID vax is completely different from any prior vax? It will be an mRNA vax. It will inject a synthetic code of RNA and will attach a modifier RNA. It can be modified remotely. It can be modified remotely? I mean, what does that mean?
Dad?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, I'll be inside.
Let's be.
Yeah.
Hi, Father. Welcome home. How's it going?
Okay. Yeah, just more the same.
Cool.
That's your coffee pot.
Yeah. Nothing much exciting going on. Still waiting for the part for the plumbing.
Yeah, I saw it was dripping.
Well, that's the green thing. I remember I said, are we going to fix the green one as well? Because it was leaking from basically two spots. You know?
Yeah. But I thought he had turned that off because the valve doesn't work.
Right. That he needs to fix that valve. It's turned off as much as it can be turned off.
Okay. I'm home for, however, and at some point I want to show you how to pay Jay's bill.
Okay. Let's have that conversation. Okay. So the depressingness and seriousness of stuff. Oh yeah. Dad decided to start handing over more responsibility for various things to me. Eric's dad sounds like C.S. Joseph. Funny you should say that. Same type, I believe. Same personality type. I think my dad would do quite well on an intelligence test. Maybe, I'm not sure. It depends on the kind of test. So I'm gonna have to watch Claude's video. It's gotten a lot of Andromedia. Okay, I'll call you Andromedia, and I'll call you Reflective. Is that what you said? You call you Reflection? I forget what you said. Anyway, it is pretty depressing. There's a tenant girl in my house. Her name's Erica. She's South American. A tenant girl in your house? How old is she? Is she your age? Okay, I'll watch it. I don't want to get copyrighted by Cloud, so I'm gonna have to watch it when I'm not live streaming. Is it true that when ISFPs get angry, they don't express their anger and they look like MOAI statues? Moai statues? Or they punch you. Sometimes they might punch you. Cloud's going to give me permission. Had a doctor boyfriend. Sounds like an asshole. Grass eater. Her doctor boyfriend sounds like a real asshole.
How's your dad? What?
Well, he wants to talk to me about like paying this bill and that bill. He's starting to hand over responsibilities to me a little bit, and that's kind of depressing, but unavoidable.
Yeah.
Smart, good TE, preparing, but he's preparing for something that's really depressing.
But it's just the TE, I think your dad's pretty healthy for his age. I mean, I think just pretty healthy in general, so, but that's a big transition,
Aren't I an adult? Yeah, I'm an adult, but I mean, it doesn't matter how much of an adult you are, having your father start to hand over certain kinds of things, family estate things to me that I've been the patriarch of my own family, in my own home before, but I'm back here because, mom's in the nursing home now, but when I first came back here, she was not. She was here and she needed a lot of caregiving, so I was here to do that. And then, I just stuck around because, fuck yeah, why not? It's great to live here. I don't have to pay any rent, and it's a nice place to be.
It's cozy.
Give me a chance to spend some time with my dad when I can. My dad is a tough guy.
He is a tough guy, but it is great that I think you being here is like a leveling up.
Right. Well, it's, I remember also he's SI tool, so familiarity does not breed contempt for an ESTJ. Familiarity breeds investment.
That's a good point.
And it's kind of gratifying to see that my dad's coming to trust me with these sort of things. I think historically he's not trusted me with these sort of things, and probably with good reason. I think he's right to trust me with them now, and You know, he's always been good at evaluating things like that. He is my benefactor type. It's okay to look at the 17th. It's part of the life arc, you know. You start off as a kid, you move into this adolescent young adult thing where you are detaching from your parents. You spend your sort of primary adulthood in a separate household, not really engaging with your parents. Like for years, I didn't really see my parents all that often, except to drop off Delilah, pick up Delilah, maybe, you know, things like that. And then you come home eventually, and you need to because your parents are old. And you know, when I came home too late, really, in the sense that my dad needed my help well before I came back, and it took me a while to adapt to the situation too. So it's like I don't feel like I did a great job of being that adult son coming home at first, but I think I do an increasingly solid job of it. I like to and want to have these conversations with my dad about these these processes that he wants to start to hand over to me. Like he wants me to deal with the plumber, for example. Simple thing, right? But the sort of thing that ESTJs have a hard time letting go of. He just sees that at this point, he's just seen that it's a lot easier for me to deal with the plumber than it is for him to deal with the plumber because he can't hear anything and everything's a challenge and there's a lot of new shit in the world that maybe he's not sure about. Like, okay, well, the whole video conference thing with my mom and the doctor is just giving him fits, and he's realizing, I think spending time with his friends Richard and Ellen also makes him recognize that he doesn't have to spend so much time TEing all the time.
It seems like he has a very enjoyable time when he's with them, and he seems to have a very enjoyable time when he goes to the desert.
He's happy. He doesn't, it's like, for me, his story is way sadder than his reality. Like, he's 80-something years old. He's got a couple of friends left his own age, but his wife's gone more or less, and he has trouble finding common ground with me, I guess, just because of our type differences. I keep saying shit that's designed to validate on NI grounds, and it just lands on that level. It lands on deaf ears. My TI is typically considered challenging rather than complementary, although there are opportunities for it to be complementary, like when fucking like secretaries call and say bullshit, and I gotta be like, man, I don't claim to be a great visionary. I don't even know what that means.
You're a good son.
I don't claim to make claims. I don't make a lot of claims about myself like that. I would say that I do claim to be a statesman as a politician rather than a politician.
I like that. Statesman.
Mm-hmm. Have I ever said I'm a great visionary? I don't think so. That's not. You are correct, Cloud. I do say that I am the one who's gotten cognitive functions correct, and I'm the best at it. Yes, I do say that. But that's not saying I'm a great visionary. Okay? I've also indicated many times that, you know, I don't plan to be forever the like end all of typology or something. I understand that other people will pick up the skeleton of what I've laid out as the correct way to think about it and put together the details that I haven't put together. I totally acknowledge that. You know, it's like I'm sure I got some things wrong. What makes me the best at it? Because I'm the only one who's got the foundation right. That's why. Because if you're going to make a model of something, you need to have the foundation right, and other people don't. And so that's what makes my interpretation of it correctly. I'm like the Japanese. Okay, they didn't back in the 80s. They didn't come up with a bunch of brand new products. They made existing ideas smaller, better, more efficient, more well made, more correct. You know. Well, what I recognize is that conceptually, the foundation of how we were talking about this was not the conceptualization of a good model. It was something, a mishmash of different things. And so I tried to clean that up. That's what I did as best I could. And I think I did a good job of it. It took me a long time to figure it out, too. It's not like I'm a great visionary who like Doc Brown had hit his head in the bathtub and had a picture of a, what's that thing called? No, the part that makes time travel possible is called a.
Oh, I don't know.
I forget what it's called in Back to the Future. Anybody remember what that thing's called? The Doc Brown envisions when he hits his head. Oh yeah, a flux capacitor, right?
Yes,
the flux capacitor, of course.
Thank you, Sean O'Neill.
There is no flux capacitor moment for me. Okay, let me make that clear. This is not an NI vision of mine in any way, shape, or form. The fact that I managed to clean out the garbage and figure out what to do or whatever was NE brute force, wrong idea after wrong idea that I had to eliminate. You know, this is not great visionary stuff. This is guy who happens to have as his most natural expression of self engagement about this kind of stuff in this forum, allowing what naturally is going to happen over time, you know? Why was Marty so close with Doc Brown? A secret romance. Grass Eater is speculating that maybe Doc Brown and Marty had a little something going on the side.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
It's possible, you know, it is possible. Maybe they had basically a Greek style relationship. In other words, one where, you know, they're both consenting adults, an older man and a younger Parkinson's prone man. There's something about being prone to Parkinson's disease that makes a person extra sexy. Being open to critique and making changes accordingly. Yeah, being open to critique and making changes accordingly. There was some points where Evelyn corrected me on the objectivity subjectivity point, for example, and it's what convinced me to start switching my narrative such that there really are only two objective or subjective functions, and those are TI and FI respectively. And NI isn't so much objective as it is universal, and it's objective in the sense that it tries to know the identity of something that's in a way that's detached from their own interest, but it's or experience, you should say, but that's not the same thing as objectivity or subjectivity. And you know that's an example of how my narrative was altered by somebody pointing out something that was wrong with it. Evelyn's done that on a few occasions. I've turned to Evelyn for guidance on a few occasions too. She's an INTP. INTPs typically give me the best guidance as far as as far as the model goes. They're the ones who are actually willing and able to engage with it on its merits and reluctantly, perhaps, but begrudgingly going, yeah, you know what? I think this, I know normally I can destroy anything with my GI. This is fairly destruction resistant. It gives it a certain sheen that appeals to me. I think I'm going to actually engage it instead of just shit on it. INTPs can do that, and I appreciate that quality of INTPs. Drunk ESFJ college parties give decent advice? Probably true. Probably you could get your, where if you're looking for advice at a college party, whose advice are you most likely to be able to trust? The drunk, whatever, right?
Yeah.
ESFJ is not a bad choice.
Yeah.
Not a bad choice.
No, not a bad choice at all. They'll tell you to clean your room.
Well, they'll say, just here, look, just button up here. Yay. You don't want to give it all away. Just a little modesty's fine.
That's so weird because my ESFJ, she pretended to be like that, but when she was drunk and she was out, it was tits out, ass, and
okay, yeah, maybe drunk ESFJ with the NI polar is a bad choice there. Actually, I think your NI just toppled my NE over. Okay, I'm gonna say best choice to trust when they're drunk could possibly be if you're the same gender as them, ESTP.
Yeah.
Who's gonna have the most kind of sensible, you know what? This is a bridge too far kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you're the same gender. If you're the opposite gender, they're probably the person you least want to trust because you will end up with dick in it.
Oh no. That's so aggressive.
No one is themselves drunk. Well, I can tell you for sure you don't want to trust the ENTP most when drunk. Although
you really
we seem to get away with it, but other people don't get away with the same shit we get away with. So don't follow our lead. As Rachel's pointed out in a previous story about her following an ENTP's lead and hurting herself in the process.
Yeah.
INFJ's drunk will be too honest.
INFJs drunk are very honest. People love drunk INFJs. It's not a good thing. It's not good.
High spirit mayo.
I would get real mean. I don't like myself as a drinker.
So I still haven't figured out how to deal with this Twitch thing very well because if you see here,
how handsome.
It still has the same title as my original stream does, even though I thought I changed the title.
You literally did the thing it said to do.
And I
maybe you didn't click something.
I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get what to do. Let's see what this is.
So for Joey, alcohol affects him less than weed does. It's different for everyone.
Back to Twitch.
That same ESFJ that I was talking about, she would smoke and get completely paranoid and totally ruin whatever we were doing. I mean, it would be funny for us because we would be laughing at her anxiety. No offense to people who get anxiety when they're high, but we were just don't smoke then. It's not a big deal. So she was the drinker of the group with her other friend Samantha, and me and Joe and Patrick were the stoners, really. I mean, we drink true, but I liked smoking always so much better.
So I wonder. Now it says the new title. Now it says the new title, but it says it's the TE user for you applying stuff promptly. Why does it say it's unstable? What's unstable about it? I don't see any instability here. This claim of instability is bothering me. Stop saying I'm unstable. Twitch. Okay, well, SpaceCat323 says it's showing here podcast number 2. Cool. That's why I'm going to name these ones because I don't know what else to do about it. So hopefully it stabilizes there in Twitch. I think it just doesn't like it when you look at that screen while you're streaming maybe or something. So Hambone is Hambone's cool. I like Hambone. Who am I debating all of a sudden out of nowhere? I like that, by the way. I'm not complaining about it. I'm heartily in favor of the noblesse oblige. Okay? Don't you worry. My noblesse oblige is rock solid. Noblesse oblige. Oblige noblesse. All right, so I am going to go to the room where purportedly I'm going to debate somebody about something. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. Jizz on without the Kazam Isra. Just join with. Yep, no camera. Why? Because the camera's occupied over here. I can't have it in both places. Silly.
Well, that's so silly.
That was silly. 41 people on a Sunday. Wow. That's so exciting. Thank you to 41 people for being here. Plus the however many people there are on the old Twitcheroo, as they call it. So have you taken the Helen Fisher test? Yes. No, I have not taken it. Helen Fisher. I don't know who Helen Fisher is. The Anatomy of Love. Ooh, I want to find out what the anatomy of my love is. I'm going to try to locate the penis. Because on my body, it's between my legs. But in my love, I'm not sure where it's located.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a statement. I'm just thinking about drunks and telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest liars, the ones who are
The biggest what now?
liars. When drunk are the SI polars, ENTJ and ENFJ. I've noticed that they were able to like fucking bullshit out of anything when drunk. Like, what the fuck? I'd stand there and be like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, if this is really happening? And it would.
Do you really know the truth about love and justice? Do you really know how it feels so good? Do you really like it when truth is just and fine? Don't you know that you should?
I was like, I felt like I was like pushing the liars out.
Listen, ENTJs, ENFJs, you are welcome here. You are beloved
Yes.
here. And just because you're an ENFJ or an ENTJ doesn't mean you yourself are guilty of what might normally be a general position regarding the tendency of especially ENFJs to make up random bullshit when they're drunk.
Yes, they love to create stories. I told you, we used to go to bars and ENFJ would lie and say he was from Delaware and make up a random accent saying that he was from fucking Delaware because he's like, who's from Delaware?
This be me Delaware accent. That's why I talk like this.
Exactly.
Everybody in Delaware talks like this. Where do I find an ENFJ, Eric? And you need your dual to help you out of this low FE bullshit existence. Well, have you tried hitting on Zandy? She's single.
Yeah, she's single.
She's an ENFJ. Do you live near Sacramento?
LOL, Sean O'Neill.
Or Fresno, either one. Because I often like to assert that she lives in Fresno. May not be true, but it's something I like to say. What type would Cyber Demon 531 be? Who's Cyber Demon 531? When? Right now? Okay. What are we debating about? What do you want to debate about? Manatee Mew. He's trying to generate buzz. He's a buzz generator. Do best two word types. We need to do each other for the best. I'd be safe and dry. Okay, well, I'm there, aren't I? I think so. I would go to her live stream and talk about the debate on her chat. Remember her from last week?
Chef, nah, he already said ENTP is the best.
I was joking. Your type, whatever type you are, that's the best type.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what type you are. That's the best type.
That's the best type.
Seriously, that's the one I
It
genuinely
really
think is best. So you can trust that.
That's my advice for ESFPs.
Can I link the live stream to here? I'm not actually quite sure how to link the live stream. Where do I find this? Can somebody else do that? I don't know how to.
Why not?
I'm not sure how to find the URL because this URL is not the URL of the live stream. The page where I'm at and I see everything.
David Sanderson just did it.
It's different than okay, cool. It's different than the page that you watch it at. Alan Watts is too soft for you. He's softy.
Yeah.
That Alan Watts. Make it seem like I'm the one who wants to debate her? I don't even know who she is. I don't know what her position is or anything. I want to debate you. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I want to debate you so bad. I don't like what you say at all. I'm going to debate you now. What's this girl's name? Cyber Demon something or something? Cyber Demon Noomslayer 69?
Okay.
Wait, what is her name again? Cyber Demon what?
I'll be watching from the bedroom.
531. Cyber Demon 531. Okay. Okay, cool. Listen up, Cyber Demon 531. I've had it out for you for a while now, and I am going to tell you a thing or two when we debate about Mia. What is Mia? The thing that we disagree about. Why are we going to debate it? Because I'm so determined to debate you. It has absolutely nothing to do with spirit mail. Okay, nothing at all. Don't need to worry about that. If you were thinking this is all being pushed by spirit mail, no. It's all me. Can I type your car? It seems to get a lot of tire punctures. Sounds like 4 slot SI. I'm thinking ENTP maybe. Going ball at 21, just own it. Just be like, that's the testosterone. Deal with it. You hear me, Cyber Demon 531? I'm calling you out. I'm throwing down the gauntlet. You're wrong about something. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to find out. And we're going to disagree. And it's going to be like, pow, pow, pow. Pow, pow. It's going to be our argument. It's going to be so exciting. Come on, girl. You know you want to debate me. You know you're my world. Sup? Hey, girl. Sup? She said she replied to me when? What, in a comment? Well, what am I supposed to do? Keep track of everything? What do I look like? A keep track of guy? Yeah, you have the wrong impression about what a keep track of guy looks like then. Because let me tell you something in no uncertain terms. It doesn't look like me. So yeah, she's welcome to come in and we can chat. We don't have to debate Cyber Demon 531. Don't mention Spirit Mayo. We don't have to debate. We can just have a conversation. You know, I'm not antagonistic or adversarial necessarily. You call me that. I don't like self-aggrandizing names like that if I can avoid them. Even though people are constantly requiring me to establish the what my position on it is. I'm not going to be falsely modest either and say that I don't think that, you know, I played a significant role in clearing out the bullshit and establishing the baselines for how to do it or whatever. But I don't like that's not important. The important things are not the title that I have or whatever. Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate what you're saying there, Reflector. I have not taken that test. I'm still waiting to see if Lady Pants shows up. Hey, Cyber Demon 531, let's just imagine for a second that you are watching this live stream and listening to me and hearing my words. Why don't you come have a conversation with me? I'm not looking to do anything adversarial or debate you necessarily. I'd be curious to see I don't even really know what your positions are. And what I am attempting to do here in general is to have meaningful conversations with people who can intelligently talk about things without being too attached to their positions, ideally, you know? So conversations don't have to be debates. Yeah, I can see, because it's like the outside zeros are email her. Can't she just join me right now in the room or something and we just talk? Why do we have to have all this TE shit? It's like right now, right here. Why not? Well, I'm not going to go to my Okay, well, I don't know why then. So what was I saying? I can't go to my email right now because I have my live stream set up so it shows everything on my screen. I don't necessarily want to show my email. So mostly because people don't necessarily want me to show their emails. So I can't go check my email right now. And without a bunch of hassle, which I don't want to engage in. Yeah, to quiet down the borderline woman. That sounds ominous. What do you think your relationship would have been like if you had a son who was an ENTP? I think it would have been great. I think it would have been fine. Because if, in fact, my child were to, feel competitive against me or want to be better at being me than me or something, I would be okay with that. I want my child to surpass me. I think it'd be harder for my child than it would be for me. I'm happy that I have the child I have. I'm very pleased with my child. I think I got lucky. It's like not everybody. What kind of kid you have is kind of out of your control. Okay, well, like I said, why does everything have to be more difficult than it has to be? Why doesn't somebody just say, yeah, cool, let's just talk and just join me right now. Like, why does it have to be all planned and everything? Why does there have to be emailing involved? It's like, can we just talk? Isn't that a lot more effective and efficient than back and forthing? I don't necessarily want to debate. We can just have a conversation. I'm not in an adversarial mood or anything. She's playing games. Okay, well, no. Nuh-uh. Mm-mm. I don't want to email her. Just as she is playing games and so doesn't want to stop playing games because she doesn't feel like stopping playing games, I also have an equivalent approach to TE. I don't want to stop doing what I'm doing to email her. This is as good an opportunity as she's going to get to get the thing done. It's like, I get it. She wants to play her game. She doesn't really want to talk to me. That's fine. But that doesn't justify dumping the responsibility of the TE onto me. So no. I don't care what her email is. Homie don't play that, I don't know, dude. I just, it's like, she can just stop playing games and come talk to me. It won't be the end of the world. I'm sure her game's fun, but, the game can be accessed anytime, whereas this requires coordination with a second party. So when coordination with a second party is made this easy, and you have to just sacrifice something that one can access anytime, well then, no. Sorry, TI doesn't support that notion. You know what I've always said? If there were no Voltaire, it would be necessary to invent him.
Always.
Yeah.
Every time I'm like in the kitchen, putting things in the dishwasher, you're like, Voltaire.
Voltaire, yeah. I'm not even trying to debate anybody. I'm just live streaming. God damn it! I'm just streaming, beaming, and gleaming. Those are the three things that I'm doing concurrently. That's fine. Nobody expects you to be part of the debate, Spirit Man. Voltaire was an overrated brony. Who was an underrated? What's the opposite of a brony? The man is trying to chill today. It likes to go fast and then slow. That's any Domish. We have bursts of energy and then bursts of meow. Spirit Man doesn't want to wait for her life to be over before she puts more mayo on her sandwich because she loves that shit. Those are the original lyrics to that song. Brony nowadays is a man who loves cosplaying as My Little Pony. I see. So what would be the opposite of a brony? A brono? Somebody who says no to bronyism? I'm a brono. I don't brony at all. You don't catch me bronying. I'm not fond of bronying. I oppose bronying in all its forms. David, I said don't mention. She'll think I'm not her fan. I am her fan. God. You're ruining her impression of me. Stop it, David. Stop it. Jeez. You're not sure you have the answer to that, huh? Brony and the bros. I see. The human is the object in morality. If you kill the object of your morality, no longer exists. I'm pretty sure morality doesn't work like that. This weird niggity meow. Anyone watch Dash and Lily on Netflix? No, I haven't. Have you? Or are you just asking out of curiosity? What I was surprised by was the fact that they made a movie out of this book. Rachel's actually seen the movie. Okay, if morality is your relative, then if your morality's mother's sister's brother is my uncle, what relation am I to your morality? I've never heard anybody say that before. Just like Darren's just like way off base. Darren Siebert says, morality is my relative. Morality is related to all of us, okay? We're all the sister and the brother and the son and the father and the mother of morality. We all are, okay? Not just you. You're not the only one who's related to morality, okay? God. Sometimes I get so mad when people say things like that. It's like, well, my brother's morality, you don't know him. You don't know my brother like I know my brother. I'm like, morality is for all of us. And that's when we learned. That's when we learned something important. We learned that love is spelled with 4 letters. L-O-V-E. Think about it. It's pretty important. It's pretty important stuff. If you're wondering whether your love is real love, ask yourself, how's it spelled? If it's spelled correctly, chances are it's real love. If it's spelled incorrectly, for example, L-U-V, as sometimes people spell it, then that's not really love, okay? I'm just saying, if you love somebody but you L-U-V them, then you don't really love them, okay? Well, lerv is before even L-U-V, I think. Or you could say, no, actually, I'm sorry, I mistook that. MC McPhee, lerv is between L-U-V and L-O-V-E. I lerv you. I L-U-V you. It could be for BFFs, you know? Or what about this? This is below L-U-V. What's this? This is the universal symbol of the heart. Oh yeah, if it's a ya. Okay, I love ya, then that's not real. That doesn't count. I love ya, that's even lower. I heart ya is like, you might as well hate them. And bless your little heart means you do hate them. So that's how it works. Those are the levels of love, okay? It goes from, yeah, I know them. Well, we're going to start just at the positives, okay? Or not negatives, okay? I know them. Yeah, they're cool. I kind of like that guy or girl, you know, or no, I don't like them. That's the next one. And then, yeah, I kind of like them. And then, oh my God, I can't stop thinking about me. I'm really kind of into him or her, you know. And then you get, God damn it, I'm in LUV. I swear, I skipped right past to LUV. Then you get to lerv. Then you get to lerv plus heart. Finally, you get to love.
Oh my gosh, I thought I heard FI in here.
I'm describing the levels of love.
Oh, he's a good person to ask.
Right? Because it starts with, you know, like, yeah, I've heard of them. Yeah, I've heard of that person.
Yeah.
And works all the way up to LOVE.
Yeah.
With intervening stages including I heart them.
Yes.
I LUV them.
Mm-hmm.
I lerv them.
Yes.
I really like them.
Yes.
I'm kind of into them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really into them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess I've established that they are my relationship partner on Facebook. That's the maximum level.
That is maximum level. You just understood millennials right there.
I understood all of human existence.
Yeah.
All of human romance.
Yes. You really have.
Oh, you know what? MC McPhee just pointed out a deficit area in my model.
What?
I did not include we vibing.
Oh, that's a new one, yeah.
That's for a
counts.
little bit younger,
Vibing.
the younger generation.
Yeah, that should be added in though.
I didn't include we chilling either. We vibing, we chilling.
Oh yeah, we chillin'.
I texted him a picture of my boobs. What level is that at?
That varies, I feel.
It might vary, yeah. Relaxing. Relaxing has two meanings, of course, Running Fox. Could mean we're relaxing, but it could mean we're taking laxatives together. And if that's the case, you're already pretty intimate with the other person. Oh my God, my wife and I need to take laxatives together because we're both eating a lot of Mexican food lately. Let's lax. Well, when I was in Shanghai, I went and got a massage. Now, this is a totally non-sexual massage. My masseuse was male, but it's very commonly done to get massages in Shanghai. It's kind of the equivalent maybe of getting a mani-pedi in the United States or something. Anyway, and it's comparatively inexpensive. So I went and got this massage at a more of a nice place, and the nice place, it costs a little bit more, but like they offer you drinks and stuff and whatever. So the thing is, during the entire massage, the guy kept telling me, relagus. And I have ever since thought that really the better way to pronounce the word relax is to pronounce it relagus. So I'm hoping to get that changed in the dictionary soon.
Cool.
You're not Cyber Demon 531.
No, I'm not Cyber Demon 531. But I'm the guy who sent you both an email, so.
Email? I can't check my email right now. I can't check it while I'm live streaming.
Fine.
Too dangerous. The commies will find out about me. You know the commies are after me, right?
Yeah.
I got two groups of people after me. The commies and the fascists. They're both after me.
Mm-hmm.
They're chasing me around. They're all got trench coats on.
Yeah.
They're all pretending to read newspapers all the time. You know how that goes with spies.
They go through your trash.
Spies constantly pretend to read newspapers. You know what? They don't read a single word in that newspaper. It's got holes in it so they can see through it. They're really looking at you.
That's good advice.
Remember that. If you see a guy holding a newspaper with holes in it, high likelihood they're a spy. When I imagine to meet on date, I think it would be special feeling, but it feels to me like ordinary when I actually meet. Is it an INFP thing? Well, life quotes. I think you're waiting for somebody to be special enough to make you feel special. I won't read that one for sure. Thank you for removing it. Relagus capsules? Is Relagus a natural supplement? Wow, somebody else must have gotten a massage in Shanghai. Or maybe they just made it up themselves. I don't know. That's possible too. Maybe.
So many different options.
Right. What you might call
Any.
unrelated instances of evolution in separate spots. The same kind of evolution. What's that called? There's a word for that. Oh, that's relief for gas. So relay gas is relief for gas. I didn't know that. That's what that pill provides. I have good relief for gas. I just let it all out in the natural way.
Better out than in.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so feels like maybe I'm ready to segue, but I'm maybe you got 10 more minutes to transition away from live streaming and into something else in life. So if there are any other important matters that anyone would like to have addressed, either in the YouTube live chat or alternately in the concurrent Twitch chat. David Sanderson, I've got work on my hands. God. David Sanderson is such an effective thorn in my side. I cannot, I can't possibly resent or be mad at him exactly because he's doing shit, like I always say. And yet it binds me so that I have to do stuff too. Yes, that's true, David Sanderson. I defer to your wisdom here. I find myself deferring to David Sanderson a lot. It seems to happen naturally. I'm not sure what type he is, but he generally is pretty wise about things. So, Cloud is David Sanderson? Wow. That is absolutely shocking.
It is shocking.
David Sanderson, did you know that you were Cloud?
Did you know that you're my special wonder?
Thanks, darling.
You're welcome.
Which reminds me a little bit. I wanted to address that thing that happened earlier as I thought about it as I went to get cigarettes. The thing is, of course, it's a weird instance where the map causes conflict because it creates a situation that wouldn't occur in the territory. So chances are I wouldn't, under any normal circumstances, ask Rachel, even if I had an automatic car, to go get cigarettes while I can do live stream. I'd be much more likely to ask her to either hold down the fort or ask her, will you do one of the two things? So I'm more aware of the FE than to simply sort of to have suggested that in the first place in that context. So then it created a situation where Rachel is imagining me doing something I wouldn't normally do and reacting accordingly. Of course, the other thing is I'm thinking to myself, if I were to ask her to do that, I'd have a good reason. And I would think it would not be an excessive request because I don't normally.
I'd just like to say that was really well thought out, first of all, because you hit everything right. And also, it was more me being like to the chat, like, oh, you're assigning me to like where's my involvement in this equation, you know? Like that's how I felt, and that's why I reacted like I did, and I apologize.
Okay, Reflector, let me just inform you about something. It doesn't quite work like that around here. Okay, maybe it should, but Hambone's explanation is as good as any. We tend to have pretty, basically, I don't know how to put it. It's like I try not to second guess the moderators, and you probably didn't. It's probably a matter of standard rather than rule. So the difference between a standard and a rule is applicable binarily, and that's what you're asking for. A standard is an exercise of discretion, and I think that's probably what happened. So that's a little harder to defend and a little harder to prevent from occurring again. And I respect and acknowledge the correctness in your objection. Okay? I want to make that clear, Reflector. I respect and acknowledge the correctness in your objection. And my only response is to make a plea to the fact that it's one of those pragmatic decisions that maybe works holistically, but sometimes produces unjust outcomes.
I think this is FE, like you were saying before, but I love that Kitty has a new like playing spot where she feels safe. Like she really loves inside and down and below the tub.
Yeah, she's got a hole to the underneath the house now. You want Eric's logic on my question? What's your question? When I talk to a girl online, she seems special. When I meet someone in reality, I find her presence ordinary. Huh.
Video chat beforehand.
Well, he says when he meets her online, when we meet her in reality. I mean, so when you meet her online, you are video chatting, right? I'm assuming. But, well, or reflector, there are two kinds of ways to apply limits, one of which is rules-based and one of which is standards-based. And we take a standards-based approach here in the sense that I have some clear rules that I apply, and I afford relative autonomy to the mods to apply their own rules, and I pick them as mods because I trust them to have a lot of discretion. It's quite possible you didn't deserve to get timed out. I didn't look because I didn't want to adjudicate the matter.
Comes with the territory of being moderator, though. I have to say,
Yeah.
I jumped the gun before too.
But
so.
yeah, and remember that moderators is a thankless job, and manity, etc. Just, I mean, basically, I'm not going to give you a satisfying answer that you're going to be satisfied with. And I don't blame you for being unsatisfied with my unsatisfying answer. If that's any consolation, you know.
Aw, that's sweet.
Most girls are about 83.4% more boring in real life. I remember Handpone one time banned Cloud in a fit of FI peak of FI, I guess you'd say. Okay, well, as you can see, it's very difficult to get somebody to actually join me in debate.
Yeah, it
So
is.
here I am in the middle of a Sunday afternoon, willing to debate anybody about anything, or to just talk to anybody about anything. And no, I'm playing games. No, I have to be Eric Wolf. You do, man. Yeah, I'm sitting right here.
Yeah,
fucking come and get it,
I know,
motherfuckers.
he's always ready.
You know what? Why do I have to do all this work? It's not like it's hard to find me. It's not like it's hard to engage me in a way that is meaningful. So people are avoidant. They don't really want to talk to me. That's my take on the matter.
Yeah.
Who, me? I mean, I'm in autonomy right now. But I don't know, are you someone who wants to argue with me about something or what? About incest, there's not much to say about it. It's not the sort of thing that one justifies with logic, you know, or says it's wrong because of logical reasons. I got enemies on whereby? What does that mean? I got enemies everywhere. Welcome to my life. I know, why would you want to debate it? Like, who's on the pro side?
I
for
know,
God's sake?
that's exactly, that's my question.
Look, Reflector, remember, around here, you can dust up quite a bit of fuss without incurring any consequences at all. So just because occasionally somebody gets timed out, they feel very mad about it. And I get it. I went to visit this live stream one time that Rachel was getting an astrology reading from, and I was totally being, I thought, pleasant.
Yeah,
I wasn't
yeah.
trying to be unpleasant,
No, you were fine.
but I got immediately banned, completely banned.
Banned.
And then I got a little sanctimonious speech about how it was appropriate that I got banned. I didn't do shit. So it's like, I get it. It's frustrating when you feel like you've been unjustly mad, but the injustice of the meow here permits you to complain about it afterwards, and I'm sure you will continue to complain about it indefinitely. You can't make sure you don't know what you do. Again, you don't have to be careful, because the thing is, unless you're a hateful, a spite monkey or whatever, you're not going to get banned. Okay, you might get timed out unfairly, and that might be frustrating, but probably all you're fussing about it now means it's less likely to happen in the immediate future. So I don't know. You're fine. Everything's fine. You're not in trouble. You just ran afoul of one force mumbler's fingers. He's got mighty fingers. They can be quite sensitive if you question them. Can't say much about it. So some communities are around rationale and others emotion. Yeah, I didn't question anything, even when I was being pleasant. I was just trying to sort of be, hey, how's it going, everybody? And I got immediately just
Banned. What the heck even happened with that? Hello?
I'm here to debate.
You're here to debate? Okay. What do you want to debate?
So I got into an argument yesterday about Dario and Artie and the validity of neuroscience in determining personality typology, but I don't know what your stance is on that. I thought you might have something to say about it.
Well, I suspect that